I wasted over $3,000 on certifications that didn't get me hired. I'm talking about A plus, Security Plus, AWS CCP, and I failed the Security Plus 4 times. 4 times. On top of that, I spent $70,000 on a degree, and after all that money, all that time, all that studying, I was still making $35,000 a year at a help desk job. But when I switched to doing it the lazy way, everything changed. I went from that help desk job making 35K to a cloud engineer making close to $500,000 a year. And I'm not that special. I'm not a genius. I just found a better path that most people don't know about. So by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how to do the same thing. I'm gonna show you which projects to build using AWS Free Tier and how to get companies reaching out to you instead of you chasing hundreds of jobs, filling out endless applications. Let's get right into it. Now, when I say the lazy way, I'm not talking about being lazy. I'm talking about being strategic, taking the most direct path to getting hired instead of doing what everybody else does, which is wasting years and thousands of dollars on credentials that don't actually get you an offer letter. Like, I want you to think about it. Most people, when they want to get into cloud engineering, the first thing they do is to sign up for a certification. Let me go get my AWS Solutions Architect cert. Let me go get my CompTIA A+. And listen, I'm not saying certifications are completely useless, but here's the truth that nobody's going to tell you. Passing a test does not equal an offer letter. Those are two completely different things. And what actually works is focusing 100% of your time and energy on what hiring managers actually care about. And what do they care about? Whether you can do the job. They don't care that you memorize 500 multiple choice answers. They want to see that you can build something, that you can solve real problems, that you understand how infrastructure works in the real world. So let me walk you through what happened for me. For years, I was on the certification treadmill. I spent over $3,000 on certification exams, study material, boot camps, and I spent $70,000 on a degree. And after all that, I was making $35,000 sitting at help desk. I was stressed, I was frustrated, I was sitting there thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this working? And then something shifted. The moment I stopped paying for certifications and start building free projects on AWS, everything changed. I built 3 hands-on projects using free AWS resources that proved I could actually do the job. Real projects, not theoretical, not multiple choices, real infrastructure that I can pull in front of a hiring manager and say, look, I built this. This is what I can do. And here's what most people don't think about. The opportunity cost. The certification path costs you thousands of dollars and takes years, 2, 3, 4 years studying for certifications, paying for exams, failing, retaking them, paying them again. Meanwhile, the direct path costs nothing, literally nothing. And it can land you a 120K role in 6 to 12 months. You can't get that time back. Time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. So why would you spend 3 years on certifications when you could spend 6 months building projects and land a job that pays double or even triple what you're making right now? That's not being lazy, that's being smart. That's something called leverage. By the way, if you're tired of being stuck and you want to follow this exact path, but with my guidance, with accountability, and with me helping you build these projects to get you ready for interviews, what are you waiting for? Click the first link in the description below and let's talk. All right, so now let me give you the complete roadmap. This is exactly what I would do if I was starting from scratch today with zero budget. No money, no certifications, nothing. Just a laptop with an internet connection. And the reason why this works is that it's simple. You're building exactly what hiring managers want to see instead of studying theory that you'll never actually use on the job. There are 3 steps, and I'm going to break each one down so you can literally follow along and do this yourself. Step 1 is learning the core AWS concepts, and this is completely free. You don't need to pay for a course. You don't need to buy a boot camp. Everything you need is available right now, today, for free. Here's what you actually need to learn. EC2, which is basically virtual servers in the cloud, S3, which is cloud storage, VPC, which is how you set up networking, RDS for database, IAM for security and permissions, and CloudWatch for monitoring. That's it. Those 6 services appear in every single cloud engineer job description. And if you understand what each one does and when you use it, you're already ahead of 90% of people applying for these jobs. And here's the key. Don't try to memorize everything. That's the certification mindset, and that's exactly what we're moving away from. Focus on understanding. If somebody says, I need to store files in the cloud, you know that's S3. If somebody says, I need to spin up a server, you know that's EC2. Understanding, not memorization. That's the difference between someone who passes tests and someone who gets hired. Let me show you exactly where to start. This right here is the AWS Free Tier. When you sign up for an AWS account, you get 12 months or free access to a ton of services. You can spin up an EC2 instance, create an S3 bucket, set up VPCs, all without spending a single dollar. This is where you're going to do all of your hands-on learning. For tutorials, you got AWS own documentation, which is honestly one of the best free resources out there. And you've got YouTube. There are hundreds of free AWS tutorials that walk you through everything step by step. Between AWS Docs, YouTube, and the free tier, you have everything you need. $0 spent. Step 2 is where the magic happens. This is what separates people who gets hired from people who stay stuck. You're going to build 3 specific projects, and each one proves a different skill that hiring managers are looking for. Project 1. Deploy a scalable web application. This is your bread and butter. You're going to set up a VPC for networking, launch EC2 instances with auto scaling so your servers automatically handles traffic spikes, put a load balancer in front of everything to distribute the traffic evenly, and connect it all to an RDS database. When a hiring manager sees this project, they instantly know you understand production architecture. You know how to build systems that can handle real traffic, real users, real problems. Project number 2, recreate that same infrastructure using Terraform. Now this is huge. Terraform is infrastructure as code, and every cloud engineer job wants it. You're going to take that exact web application you built manually and automate the entire thing using Terraform code. Instead of clicking buttons in the AWS console, you're writing code that creates all of that infrastructure automatically. This proves you can automate. And automation is what companies pay big money for. If you can automate infrastructure, you are incredibly valuable. Project 3, build a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub and AWS Code Pipeline. This one proves you understand how modern companies actually deploy software. You set up a pipeline so that every time you push code to GitHub, it automatically tests it, builds it, and deploy it to AWS. No manual steps, no human error. This is how real engineer team works. And when you show that you've built this yourself, it tells hiring managers you understand the entire software delivery lifecycle. Now let me show you what these 3 projects should look like when they're done. This is a GitHub repo with properly documented projects. Look at this README file. It's not just, here's my project, it explains what the project does, the architecture, and how it works, what technical decisions were made, and why. You want architectural diagrams in here. You want explanations of your design choices, and you want it to look professional, because this is what hiring managers and recruiters are going to look at. Think of this like your portfolio. It's like a resume, but it's better because it shows you can actually do the work and not just talk about it. Documentation gets you in the room. Projects gets you the job. Step 3 is where you turn all that work into actual job offers. You've got the skill, you've got the projects, now you need people to see them. First, your resume. Restructure it to put your projects front and center. Do not hide them in the personal project sections at the bottom. Put them where your experience goes and describe them in a way that you describe a real job. What you've built, what technology you used, what problems you solved, and what the results were. These aren't hobby projects, they're proof that you can engineer real infrastructure. Second, LinkedIn. This is where 80% of your opportunities are going to come from. Your headline needs keywords like AWS, Cloud Infrastructure, DevOps. Your About section should showcase your projects. And your skill sections needs the right keywords so recruiters can find you. When you optimize LinkedIn correctly, recruiters start to come to you. You don't chase them, they're in your DMs saying, hey, I have this role for you. That's the power of positioning yourself correctly. And third, your application strategy. Apply to 20 to 30 relevant jobs per week, not 200 random jobs, not 500 applications, 20 to 30 targeted roles that match your skills. And at the same time, you're using LinkedIn to let recruiters come to you. That combination, outbound application plus inbound recruiters' interest, and that's how you land a 120 to 150 role in the shortest amount of time. This is what I mean by the lazy way. You're not working less, you're working on the right things. And when you work on the right things, you get results. So let me bring this all together for you. You don't need to spend thousands on certifications to land a cloud engineer job. That's the old way. And honestly, that's the slow way. Step one, learn the core AWS services for free. AWS Free Tier, YouTube, documentation for 3 to 4 weeks. Step two, build 3 hands-on projects that prove you can do the job. A scalable web application, infrastructure as code with Terraform, a CI/CD pipeline, and that's going to be around 6 to 8 weeks. And step 3, optimize your resume, your LinkedIn, and your application strategy, and let recruiters come to you. And that's going to take about 1 to 2 weeks. This entire path costs nothing, and it gets you hired faster than spending years collecting credentials that don't translate to an offer letter. Now, if you want to follow this path, but with our guidance, live coaching, and a guarantee that you land a job within 12 months, I work with IT professionals to transition them into 120 to 150 cloud engineer roles. Click the first link in the description to learn about the 8-week program. Or if you want to see exactly what projects to build step by step, check out my video on the 3 AWS projects that get you hired. I'll link it somewhere around the screen right now. Like the video if you liked it and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.